So, are you being bullied by your toddler? Just had a conversation with son and daughter-in-law and son and wife. And I was just asking them what kind of things I need to share out there about parenting. And they gave the example of just experiences and quoting the other kids have had similar experiences of going to situations where toddlers are just kind of running the show and they're upset and they uh, won't do things. If they don't get their way, they have a fit, etc. And really, it is bullying behavior. In other words, it's about control, and it gets down to a simple philosophy. Now, my name is Fred Ray Libran. You might think about listening to me. I've written on this and counseled a fair bit and had 5 kids. And I'm going to tell you, with our 5 kids, we never saw a tantrum. To my knowledge, Joey, back you up, we never had tantrums because we weren't a system that operated with tantrums. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Uh, the challenge you've got is how you think about a toddler. And if you think a toddler can't control him or herself, then you've got to be operating in that you're a victim and you've just got this little creature that has no ability to respond well. And they just are how they are. And I would argue that that's mistaken because you're going to have to figure out at what point can they control it. I mean, you seem to be able to control you. So when did that happen? And the truth is, it begins happening from the day they're born, maybe even before. There is a measure of control that we can have or that we can learn. And that's what you're up to. So here's the trick to this bullying toddler thing. And by the way, if you disagree with me, it's totally cool. Do it how you want to. I'm just saying you could have a different life. Your children can sleep through the night. We know how to do that. Your toddlers can be respectful, not crazy. We can do that. Your kids don't have to be so shy they can't talk to anybody. Uh, all these things, all this material we develop, is all about how to empower your children to grow up to be healthy, sane, contributing human beings. But here's where it's going to start, and this is all I'm really going to tell you right now. You've got to understand that your toddler's behavior is actually behavior you're teaching the toddler to do. I know that may sound radical, but that's what's going on. Your interaction and reaction is reinforcing and encouraging a certain behavior. That's how it goes. And what's funny is there are some areas that you know this, that it's too dangerous, too big a deal, too something, that you finally taught them something about what they're allowed to do, not allowed to do, what the boundary is, because you're kind of sovereign over their life. You're responsible for them. They'll die if you don't look after them. They don't need to be running the home. You need to be running the home. And if you think you're in a constant negotiation, then you're caught. And all you're doing is teaching that child how to behave a certain way, which foods to demand or not, which things to like or not. Got to have this thing with me all the time, the binky or the whatever. And look, I'm not saying don't be a great parent. Indulge them, let them have stuff. I get it. That's great. However, if you're not empowering them to know how to run their own life, their own emotions, and handle their own attitudes, you're going to be in trouble. Just recently, I'll close with this. Lady I was working with had a daughter that was moody. This is about first grade. So this grumpy, moody child, the mother worried about because she was afraid she'd grow up and stay really moody and would then wind up getting kicked out kind of the home in her teens like she had experienced. And she's regrouped and done well and all the rest, but she doesn't want her daughter to go through that. So that fear drives her. Well, that's, just that she's honest with me is amazing. So we're getting the story out. But she also is a very teachable human being and she wants to learn how to do it differently. And so as we work through a strategy, what we came up with was that instead of what she was doing, which is lecture the daughter about the harm of being grumpy, she came up with a new game plan, and that was to look at her daughter and say, hey, sweetie, I know you're grumpy. I get that, but you can't stay grumpy. So we need you to get ungrumpy. And you can do that yourself if you want to, or I'll be glad to help you. Which would you like? Well, I checked back in a few days, and lo and behold, that little girl had 3 times, I think, at that point, ungrumpified herself. That's amazing. See, what goes on is we don't think these little creatures are capable of stuff they really are. They have wills, they have the ability to choose, they can think new thoughts, and you can guide them in that. So when you see a behavior, you need to know that they're learning that from you. You're teaching them. You can know this because you can look at language. They pronounce words like you do. How'd that happen? Because you taught them. Not consciously, but because when they asked for it and they said it right, you gave it to them. If they don't say it right, you don't give it to them. That's how we teach them. So if you got a little bully of a toddler, I double dog dare you to sit down and have a good talk with yourself and realize that you are almost guaranteed to be the one helping to teach that little toddler to bully you. If you like that, party with it. But honestly, you get on a different path. Take care.